Good evening, race fans. Welcome back to the Camping Universe Intimidator 76. It's the season opener here at the virtual Daytona International Speedway. As always, it's good to be back in the booth. I'm James E. bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second. As we get ready to send them out for tonight's grid, I'm excited. It's the season opener. The drivers have had a long hiatus, and they're looking forward to getting back out on the track for the very first time this season. Let's run through the starting order tonight. It's Brett Murphy starting on pole, Jeffrey Sykes starting second, Caleb Nelson third on the grid, Marshall Newton starting fourth, Brad Floyd starting fifth, Brian Ziegler starts sixth, Brian Newbinging starting seventh, Brian Robinson starting eighth, Tyler Aspinall starting ninth, Jared Ziegler starting 10th, Caleb Weekly starts 11th, Kevin Nelson 12th on the grid. Then we got Lucas Strayer starting 13th, Mitchell Mumma starting 14th, Chris Sawyer starting 15th, Derek Stanley starts 16th, Will Cloud starting 17th, Nicholas Claiborne starts 18th, Cody Schultz starting 19th, Josiah Strauss starting 20th, Nicholas Wing 21st, Daniel J. Jensen starting 22nd, and then Levi Opitz will round out the 23-car grid tonight. Good to be back in action here at the Camping Universe family as we wait for all of our drivers to make their way out onto the grid. Let me know where you're tuning in from, who you're cheering on, as these broadcasts are a whole lot more fun with our fans' involvement. And let me tell you, all the racers go back and watch these broadcasts if they're not already watching it live, so let them know who you're cheering for, as they will definitely notice and appreciate it from our fans at home. Still waiting for a couple more drivers to make their way out on the grid, but this is the time where the race control admins will give a few little updates, last-minute reminders to our drivers, letting them know what the rules are, what's expected. And then we'll get ready to start the season off strong. Looking forward to another great season. We had the pleasure of calling all the action last season for the Camping Universe Truck Series, as we still wait for a few more drivers to make their way out onto pit road. We're waiting on Brett Murphy, Jared Ziegler, Kevin Nelson, Lucas Strayer, Mitchell Mumma, the remaining drivers who have yet to make it out onto pit road. As we wait ever so patiently for this show to start tonight. Good to see so many familiar names and faces back out on track for this season. Looks like everybody except for Murphy and Nelson have made their way out on the grid, so Jared Ziegler has taken to the field, a good sign that the drivers' meeting is over. Now we're just waiting on Kevin Nelson in the 09 Chevrolet to make his way, and we will go for 76 laps. Looks like Nelson gonna start from pit road here today. Not sure if that was on purpose or if he just missed the third and final call to get things started here tonight at Daytona. Going to be interesting to see as the pace car leads them out. It's Murphy and Sykes on the first row. Newton and Nelson your second row. Ziegler and Robinson will be your third row. As you can definitely notice the gap with some of the drivers opting to start from pit road. Some drivers not getting going. Not sure what's going on here. Is that right side lane failing to get going on pit road? Somebody may be asleep at the wheel here. Looks like, trying to see who that may be. It may be Claiborne who gets woken up. No, is it Stanley? Yes, in the number 82 machine. So I believe we may have to extend the start here after some drivers not getting out of pit road in a timely manner. But it's the first race of the season, so it's probably the best time to have your problems and your woes. Looks like most of the grid getting formed up here. As you see the tail end of the pack, all in the mail to catch up to your race leaders, realizing they are well and far behind. Pace car comes in, and we get ready to start this season off strong again. Kevin Nelson, the 09, he'll be starting from pit road as Brett Murphy and Jeffrey Sykes get on the gas and get things going. Looks like Murphy has a fantastic start up front, but Sykes is going to try and work that high line. And we are 2 wide and about 6 rows deep. Now going to be interesting to see. It's a long race, 76 laps. That's going to put us just around the hour mark if I'm doing my math right up here in the broadcast booth. So going to be interesting to see who takes it easy, who tries to play it safe, and maybe who pushes a little bit too hard too early here at Daytona. Right now, though, it's still Sykes and Murphy on the front row side by side. As we try and get our internet speed to catch up to our drivers. Good to see Norman King coming out today, cheering on the drivers. Always love seeing Norman in any capacity we can, either on the track or off, supporting his friends. We're going to try and get things fixed as well from a broadcast point of view, see if we can get that internet connection dialed in for our viewers at home. As still, it's Murphy and Sykes side by side. We're going to try and wait for our first caution to maybe switch over that internet signal and see if we can get dialed in on our end here in the broadcast booth. But looks like guys are still going strong. Murphy and Sykes still in the front row. Nelson and Newton right behind them on the second row, and not showing much signs of slowing down. We try and get things corrected on our end here. Let's see if that takes. Hopefully it does. As Nelson moves up to the race lead, so now he'll be just ahead of Brett Murphy. Sykes still on the high line in the 04 machine. As we get a large bit of blinking here on our end, it's still Nelson on the inside line leading the charge. A lot of pre-race jitters for these guys. It just takes one mistake to have an issue at 100 and almost 200 miles an hour. Right now, drivers hitting trap speeds of about low 190. And I'm not thinking they're going to show any signs of slowing down here. Able to keep it relatively clean so far. You see the number 64 machine of Murphy. Now he's going to hop. Very impressed so far. Not too many big moments. Everybody's playing it relatively safe, trying to keep themselves out of trouble. As now things are shaking up at the front. Drivers starting to bump and grind a little bit more. Brett Murphy shows as the race leader in the high line. Caleb Nelson's going to try and answer back in the inside line. You got the number 20 of Brady Floyd also joined up on the inside line here. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the upload speed. Going to try and get that corrected again. Terribly sorry to the drivers, the fans, for the intermittent issues we're having here tonight. Oh, looks like the 07 of Nelson tries to get a bump to Murphy, but the general rule here is at Daytona, don't push the pusher. And we are back, but for how long, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going 3 wide up front for the lead. It's Nelson, Floyd, Sykes all in the mix here, 20 laps in. As that is going to be Floyd getting a heavy push in the 64 of Brett Murphy, making their way up towards the front, but this is not where you want to be, only 20 laps in with such aggressiveness. As you watch Caleb Nelson, he's on the inside line, getting pushed by number 2 of Caleb Weekly. And looks like we're going to get out of 3 wide formation. Maybe drivers realizing, you know what, let's play it a little bit safe here, not try to have too many issues, and just try and get to the end of this thing. Now, there's no fast repairs here at the Camping Universe Truck Series. So if you find yourself tied up in a big incident, you are in trouble for the remainder of the event, especially a super speedway race that's so reliant on the draft. Daytona, not known for quite being a technical course, more of a different type of driving involved to get yourself out towards the front and pick up a win, especially the season opener. There's so many drivers that are going to be coming out here looking for that first win of the season and try and start things off right. But as we've seen from the real Daytona 500, as well as the countless iRacing cars that were sacrificed in official series this week, it just takes one mistake at 200 miles an hour and you can find yourself quickly pointing the wrong direction. As we still have 22 drivers on the lead lap here today. It's going to be Floyd, Murphy, Nelson, Aspinall, Weekly, your top 5. As now we're going 2 wide, about 4 rows deep up front. It's Murphy and Floyd side by side. Murphy in the Chevrolet, Floyd in the Ford. And these guys are digging quite deep here today. It looks like the outside line only has about 3 drivers. It's going to make it 2 as Murphy hops down on the inside groove once more. But Aspinall is going to try and make something happen on the high line, the number 45 machine. But that's going to be tough here with only a 2-car freight train to keep that momentum going. Or we can see anything happen. Now, these side drafts of the pickup trucks, quite effective. But do you want to risk it getting down that low to try and make it work? Now, I'd definitely say the outside line, probably the easier spot to be in as far as holding on to it. The inside line, all you can really see is out through the driver in front of you, their rear window. And if you touch that inside apron just a little bit too much, it's a quick way to send yourself careening around. But right now, Murphy doing a great job on that inside line, able to hold on to it, not having any big issues himself. And now it'll be Aspinall hops out the inside line. What's going to happen to Caleb Weekly, number 2 machine, as he looks to be left to dry out there on the high side? We got 1 driver, looks like they're coming down pit road. That's going to be Jared Ziegler, the number 8 machine, as well as Josiah Strauss. Interesting to see the different strategies coming into play here. Ziegler looks like he just triggered the pit lane. The lights didn't fully come in. Strauss does the same, so not quite sure why they got bumped so low there or what the issue may have been. As Caleb Weekly still trying to find a way down to that bottom groove. Keep an eye out, though, on Murphy. Right now, Aspinall burning the most amount of fuel in that number 45 machine. He's up 8 spots, but looks like our hard charge is going to be Levi Opitz. He's up 15 positions, now running 8th on the track. So didn't have the qualifying he was looking for tonight, but still able to find some time to make big moves. Now, I'm going to be interested to see how long these drivers try and stay out before they opt to dive down pit road. As the number 2 machine, Caleb Weekly, still out on that high line. He's right behind Caleb Nelson, so showing in 4th, but I think Marshall Newton's going to have other plans about that in the 76 machine. Don't expect to see any of these drivers on that inside groove to try and let Weekly down. And poor Weekly just nowhere to go here, just stuck on that line. You can see how big of a run he gets in the outside line. Nowhere to rightly put it, though. As now Weekly gets a little bit of help from the 09 machine. That is Kevin Nelson, who started from pit road. He's a lap down here, but trying to work his way back out towards the front in case we do get a caution. So expect to see that 09 Chevrolet Silverado making some big moves here. Now he is in lucky dog contention, so if he can avoid any incidents, if the yellow does come out, he's still looking good at the end of this race if things can go his way. But that's a big ask, as look at this, the outside line has all sorts of momentum. Ooh, Nelson still looking for a way around that 09 machine. He wants to unlap himself from Tyler Aspinall, your race leader. But it's a tough move because the only thing worse than crashing when you're inside the top 5 is crashing somebody inside the top 5 when you're a lap down. So keep an eye on Nelson to try and make that move as safely as he possibly can, as he's trying to get Caleb Weekly up towards the front. Aspinall still your race leader inside that inside groove. Say that 3 times fast. Outside line doesn't look like they're quite getting the support they're looking for here. As we get closer and closer to the halfway mark here tonight. And we do have drivers initiating their green flag stop. Cody Schultz, Nicholas Wing, Daniel J. Jensen, all diving down pit road here as we are 2 wide and 3 rows deep up front. The 09 Kevin Nelson leading that outside line. He's accompanied by the 07 of Caleb Nelson. But if we do not get a caution tonight, I think the 09 may be in trouble. Schultz, Wing, Jensen get ready to leave pit road. I think there may have been a story to tell there on pit road as they took a long time to get to their box. Nicholas Wing already rolling out in the 99 machine. Most drivers still staying out. Cody Schultz was in pit road for a long time, 20 seconds, about 5-6 seconds longer than a regular stop. Look at this. Kevin Nelson has unlapped himself in the 09 machine. Not needing a lucky dog if he can do it on gas and talent alone. Raw speed helping to propel him towards the front. But soon there's going to be more lap traffic ahead. I believe that'll be Wing, Nelson, and, Wing, Schultz, and Jensen just ahead of your race leaders. And we're going to go 3 wide up front with traffic. It's Aspinall, Nelson, who's a lap down, and Nicholas Wing in the 99 machine, who hops onto the high groove here at Daytona. Oh, what's going to happen here? I'm assuming Kevin Nelson, the 09 machine, is going to stay out as long as he can to try and get back in the lead lap, hoping for a caution that may not come tonight. As now Kevin Nelson a lap down, leading the charge. Tyler Aspinall first, Murphy second, Weekly third. Not bad out of Weekly, who looked like he was going to get stuck on that high line with no support for the longest of time. So he's got to be happy to be back inside that inside groove, as now here comes Kevin Nelson to initiate his pit stop. Caleb Nelson, Marshall Newton, Jeffrey Sykes, Jared Ziegler, Brian Robinson, Levi Opitz, Nicholas Claiborne, Brian Ziegler, all diving down pit road together, while the top 10 drivers opt to stay out just a little while longer here today. So how long is Aspinall going to stretch out here? Now this should only be a one-stop race, barring any incidents. I think Aspinall will stay out as long as he can. I stand corrected, as Aspinall comes down pit road accompanied by Floyd, Cloud, and Strayer. So now it's Murphy, Weekly, Newbigging, Mama, Stanley, and Sawyer are going to stretch out that fuel run ever so slightly. So it's looking like it's going to be a one-stop race for all drivers involved, barring a late race caution. Now with about 3 different groups coming down pit road together, expecting to see the fields fairly stretched out here. Ooh, a little bit of smoke out of Murphy and Weekly as they got on pit road, so now it's 4 drivers opting to stay out. Right now it's showing still 18 drivers on the lead lap, as Newbigging and the number 70 machine, he's behind the number 99 machine of Nicholas Wing. Wing is about to go a lap down, trying his best to stay on the lead lap, but he's going to work with the number 70 machine and keep charging forward. Now it looks like Newbigging is going to go back down to follow traffic that's a little bit deeper, and he will put the number 99 machine of Wing a lap down at the halfway mark as several drivers come down pit road. There we go, as the remaining 4 drivers of Newbigging, Mama, Stanley, and Sawyer. So that should put, I believe, Brett Murphy as your race leader, the number 64 machine, as he makes his way out of pit road after a lap 34 pit stop tonight here at Daytona. But he's going to have company with Caleb Nelson. Caleb coming up fast in the 07 machine with a freight train of drivers behind him. He's got Newton, Jared Ziegler, Nicholas Claiborne, Brady Floyd all in the mix, as the top 4 drivers get ready to make their way out of pit road. Looks like Nelson and Jared Ziegler are going to go side by side here, crossing the start-finish line. Now it still shows Mitchell in the 98 machine as your race leader, but Jared Ziegler and friends who are diving deep here are going to be catching up and doing so quickly. That is Mama and Newbigging just ahead of this massive pack, running 3rd through about 12th here tonight. And The fastest lap of the race has been set by Caleb Weekly, running 11th in that number 2 Chevrolet. He's clicked off a 48.18 using the massive draft ahead of him. As now Caleb Nelson getting ready to catch up the number 70 machine of Newbingen. He's less than a second back on the backstretch here at Daytona, and with how many drivers are behind him, they've definitely got the aero advantage to start propelling themselves up towards the front. So here we go. What will be the battle for the lead as drivers get ready to go around the 98 and the 70 with the massive run they have. The 98 stays on the inside line. He's going to get pushed by Caleb Nelson. The 76 of Marshall Newton looks for the middle line, not getting the support he wants, as there goes Caleb Nelson. Not sure if he's trying to throw a block or maybe pick up an ally, as they're going to work together to take over the race lead. So now it's Nelson, Newton, Claiborne, your top three. So right now it looks like it's 1st through 12th in a massive pack. Doug Newbingen in the number 70 machine, who was leading the charge here after the pit cycle, has found himself sitting in 12th right behind Jared Ziegler in the number 8 machine. Looks like most of the field fairly happy going single file here, as the number 14 machine of Josiah Strauss finds himself a lap down. I'm intrigued to see just how deep these guys are going to run for and how patient they're going to be. As Caleb Nelson still leading with Marshall Newton, Nicholas Claiborne in tow. Looks like Claiborne, our hard charger, up 15 spots in the number 33 machine. That'd be impressive to gain 33 spots in a 23-car rodeo. Now, from what I'm seeing, I imagine this top 12 pack is going to remain fairly single file unless they see an opportunity with lap traffic to try and make some big moves. And then we're about 10 laps left to go. You're going to see everything break loose here at Daytona, and it'll be every man for himself, as we have yet to see the big one out here today. Whoop, I've done it. I've jinxed it. I just willed that into existence, as we saw Mitchell Mama go for a wild ride in the 98 machine. Probably best I just don't call that one anymore, so let's watch that one once more. We're watching Mama in the number 98 machine. Looks like he drifts a little bit high as traffic comes down low. Thankfully, most of the field able to avoid. I think Jared Ziegler may have taken an off-road excursion. Yes, he did, through the infield at Daytona, showing his dirt experience quite well. Well done getting back out on track, and well done the rest of the field checking up and not getting into it. So our first caution of the night with about 34 laps left to go. Are we going to see drivers come down pit road, or are they going to be good on fuel? as it looks like the entirety of the field going to come down pit road. Not quite sure if I would have predicted that one. As I thought they would be more than good to go till the end here on fuel, maybe splashing off, taking it as an opportunity. I can't imagine why you would take tires at this super speedway event, as Nelson in and out of his pit stall in 8.3 seconds. Tyler Aspinall looks like he's staying out here, the number 45 machine. Interesting to see Aspinall stay out, maybe valuing the track position more so than everything else. Maybe he's feeling pretty good about fuel saving here, as the number 14 machine of Josiah Strauss, I believe, will get the wave around very shortly once the iRacing pace car makes its way to the start-finish line. And no, he will come down pit road, maybe he's trying to get the lap back. So as it shows, it's Marshall Newton, Caleb Weekly, and Derek Stanley, your top three, as a large portion of the field comes back down pit road. Very interesting. Maybe drivers thinking there would be a little bit short there. But this is very interesting, ladies and gentlemen. It's very rare to see drivers taking a double stop on pit road. So it's going to look to be about a 31-lap sprint race here to the end. We're imagining most, if not all, the drivers should be well topped off on fuel, as I believe we're going to have all 23 drivers on the lead lap, and pace car is in, and we're doing a single file start. What on earth is this, ladies and gentlemen? It's Marshall Newton, Derek Stanley out front. Caleb Weekly in the number 2 machine starts on the high side all by himself. I'm a little confused by what we just saw there, as it is Newton and Stanley on the inside line, Nelson and Weekly trying to work the high line together. Weekly goes back down low. He's going to tuck in behind the number 82 of Derek Stanley. Now, for the most part, the field looked like they were starting to be a little bit happy running single file on that last run. Are they going to do the same here? 30 laps left to go at Daytona. And Caleb Nelson, the 07 machine's got a huge run on the outside line. Will he be able to clear Marshall Newton, the number 76 machine, as well as the 82 of Derek Stanley? Stanley, our current fastest Canadian, out on track here tonight. as we're too wide, about 3 rows deep. I believe that's Caleb Luke, the number 2 machine, trying to decide what line he wants to go with. And yes, Caleb Nelson will get clear up front, as Sykes is going to try and make his Chevrolet fast around the outside line as well. Ooh, heavy push in there through the corners. It does not take much to upset these machines and send them sliding around. We have a good hearty bump draft. Up front, I believe that's going to be Mama taking the lead in the 98 machine. He's got the support of the 82 of Stanley. Jeffrey Sykes on the inside line, still running strong. And oh, we're pushing very, very hard for how many laps are still left to go. You can see the crinkle of Mama's rear bumper. His Toyota Tundra has taken a little bit of impact there. I think what you're seeing right now, as well as a large portion of the field from about 10th place back, playing it safe, watching what these leaders are doing, and maybe expecting a big crash here that will maybe let an underdog make their way up front, put themselves in contention for the race win here tonight, the season opener. Look at the big run. Sykes and Nelson on the inside line making some moves. Marshall Newton now third, as it looks like a large portion of the field, at least first through 6, trying to get single file and get through this run. We think everybody can make it till the end on fuel, but what's it going to be on talent? Are these drivers going to crash into each other by the time it's all said and done and bring out the big one? Now, last time we willed a small crash into existence, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut when it comes to that. And at this point of the race, well into the back half. And here comes Murphy in the 64 machine with a big run. He's being helped by Doug Newbinging, but Sykes and Caleb Nelson on the inside line have been very, very quick here. Still side by side up front, about 4 rows deep, trying to make it 5. And we got a very small gap to 11th place, Will Cloud and Levi Opitz, kind of watching what's going on in front of them. I think these drivers are in no big hurry to get up front and find themselves in a risky scenario. As up front, these guys are absolutely sitting. It's still 25 laps left to go. I don't think we're going to see too many big moves here. It would be needlessly risky. But we've seen racers do more exciting things here in the past. So time will tell what they're going to do. Murphy getting a hard shove through the corners by Doug Newbinging. So it looks like we're too wide. We'll call that about 4 strong rows deep. The 5th row kind of hanging back, not wanting to get in this party quite yet. And look at the run from Murphy and Sykes, working nose to tail, really getting that bump draft working. Their last time by, they hit speeds right at 195 miles an hour. Looks like that may be some of the fastest speeds of the race so far, as here's going to come lap traffic once more as Kevin Nelson. He's about 20 miles an hour slower than this lead pack, going all the way up to the high line here in Daytona. And he will play it nice and safe to allow the leaders to make their way by. Such a rapid closing speed between these two packs. That is a white knuckle moment for all drivers involved. The lead drivers have to count on their own skill at those around them not to make any mistakes. And they also have to count on traffic not to make any error as well, because if Kevin Nelson would have touched that outside wall and bounced back into the track, it would have cleaned out pretty much everybody running first through about 12th. So it looks like it's still Newbinging, Stanley, Murphy, Weekly, Sykes, the top 5. As the live time you showed on the left side of your screen, right at a second, separating first all the way back to 10th. So a nice tight pack here for the most part, still going single file. Caleb Weekly's trying to get the outside line working with lap traffic. Kevin Nelson, having a rough start tonight, has been fighting tooth and nail to stay on the lead lap. Still battling hard up front. Weekly trying to get around Doug Newbinging, who appears to still be running a Christmas paint out here at Daytona. I don't think anybody's told the driver of that number 70 Chevrolet Silverado that we are squarely in February at this point. But the number 70 machine looking well, and we can't judge too harshly, as he is winning the season opener of the Intimidator 76, brought to you by the Camping Universe Truck Series. Laps are quickly clicking off, and besides Caleb Weekly and Kevin Nelson, who's a lap down, everybody first through, it looks like 22nd. Running mostly single file here tonight. Looks like Weekly has to back out of it on the high line. He's going to try and maybe dive down in here. As I think pretty soon you're going to see the aggression ramp up from these drivers. As now the outside line starting to get formed up, but Kevin Nelson lapped down in the 09 machine has a big blink leading the outside line. That's going to stall the run ever so slightly amongst those drivers. And here we go, 17 laps left to go. Too wide, about 6 rows deep and climbing. If you're going to see a big crash, it's going to be here soon, ladies and gentlemen, as these guys are digging extremely deep. Oh man, hopefully Kevin Nelson gets that blinking issue under control as Caleb Weekly might drive through the back of that 09 machine. Looking very impatiently for a way around as Kevin Nelson drops down the inside line and blocking Doug Newbinging. And that's going to allow Weekly to take over the race lead here. Nelson still fighting ever so hard to stay on that lead lap as you see the drivers playing a big game of snake. The speeds have dropped down slightly, only hitting about 190 to 195 miles an hour. It's got about 193 in this pack, so things have slowed down just a little bit. As there goes Nelson with another blink in the 09 machine. Now at this point, Nelson just praying for a caution so he can stay on the lead lap, and it might come. As the number 14, Josiah Strauss, finds himself dragging the outside wall. It looks like the field gets through nice and clean, as Strauss bounces all the way back to about 21st in the standings, and he will come down pit road all by himself. The things rapidly shaping up in the top 5. Ziegler and Weekly going back and forth for the race lead. Number 7, Brian Ziegler going to push his son further up towards the front. It's a family party here at Daytona as they're going to try and work together to clear Caleb Weekly. But it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it through turns 3 and 4. They'll have to wait just a little while longer as they make their way out to the start-finish line stretch. It's going to be 14 laps left to go as they cross the line. But keep an eye on Jared and Brian Ziegler. Jared in the number 8, Brian in the number 7 machine. Working in tandem here. Caleb Weekly has the support of a lap down driver right behind him, trying to push him towards the front, but the Ziegler family on the high side could be very potent here. As, man, look at Brian all in the back bumper of Jared, trying to squeeze that number 8 machine further up front. Kevin Nelson still with a big blink in the 09 machine as the top 4 drivers have a bit of a breakaway. Brian Robinson, number 37, Toyota Tundra, he's running 4th, trying to get up in the mix as well. Looks to maybe thinking about taking it 3 wide. As, oh, look at that, Jared Ziegler has left Brian Ziegler behind as Jared drops in front of Caleb Weekly's number 2 machine. So will Brian Ziegler get the help from Brian Robinson to work his way up to the front? Not a lot of laps left here, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Ziegler has a big run on the outside line. Will it be enough to get around the younger Jared Ziegler? Looks like he's just about clear here at the tri-oval. Not enough where he felt comfortable dropping down, but these 2 teammates will be on comms and calling it out together. But Jared Ziegler dare not lift here, because if he does, he's going to get absolutely run over by Caleb Weekly. The 07 machine of Caleb Nelson joining the fray as he shows fourth on track, third on that inside line. Oh, are we going to go 3 wide here? Looking like it. Caleb Nelson looking for a way through. Almost makes a little bit of contact with Brian Robinson as the inside line checks up heavily. Let's see if Brian Ziegler has a big run on the outside line, but you've got 2 teammates controlling both lanes right now. So that may be why you don't see Brian Ziegler coming down here. With the 2 teammates having full control of most of the raceway, the drivers behind them would have to try and go 3 wide to get around the number 7 machine, Brian Ziegler. If that was going to be the case, Brian has a big run on the outside line, and he will drop down in front of Jared Ziegler, the number 8 machine. Jared's going to give him a big hearty shove on the backstretch, as now Brian Robinson's going to try and do the same move with the support of Brady Floyd on the outside line. Ten laps left to go, and it's all but decided here at the season opener, as Brian Robinson and Brian Ziegler going side by side for the race lead. Jared Ziegler, Brady Floyd right next to each other, door to door on the second row. And here we go, just like clockwork. Brian Ziegler gets absolutely punted across the surface, nowhere to go, after he just got violently hooked. He's not going to be happy about that one, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to back that one up. Looked like the number 20 machine tried to go 3 wide, getting into the 37, I believe. The 37 gets hooked, and then poor Brian Ziegler, just an innocent victim here, doing his best, holding his line. Yeah, look at this. This is not what you want to see. Just gets absolutely slammed on the right side. Jared Ziegler doesn't look like he's going to get through unscathed either. I believe there's going to be some words shared here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, another good question is, was Kevin Nelson involved in any way in that in the 09 machine? Because if so, he will have his lucky dog invalidated. That will be our second caution of the night. Looks like Brian Robinson came down pit road, number 37 machine. Brian Ziegler still shows out on track in the number 7. Just like that, the top 5 shaken up again. Floyd, Opitz, Aspinall, Weekly, and Nelson currently your top 5. Caleb Nelson in the 07. Yes, it looks like Kevin Nelson's going to finally get his lap back after fighting all night for it. So we'll get them gridded up once more for what could be the final time of the night. Now, I'm still expecting at least one more big, fantastic crash before it's all said and done here tonight, as we do have 3 green-white checker attempts at our disposal. As it'll be Floyd and Opitz in the front row, Aspinall and Weekly your second row, Caleb Nelson and Will Cloud your third row. Levi Opitz showing up 21 positions from where he started tonight, and that number 31 Chevrolet. Let's see how Brady Floyd in the Ford F-150 up 4 spots can help maybe fend off the 31, or they may see them working together here. Now, if we can take the white flag on this run, we will finish under green flag conditions. But if we have a caution in the next couple laps, we'll throw it into overtime. As it looks like Opitz gets a pretty poor launch here and then hops down the inside line behind Aspinall and Floyd, your race leaders. And gets it fired back up on the outside line. Caleb Nelson trying to work his way in the bottom groove as we were running nose to tail through the field. We've got one driver off below the double yellow, may have gotten pushed around just ever so slightly. As it'll be 5 laps left to go at the start-finish line. Ooh, keep an eye on that 31 of Opitz. He was trying to maybe work that side draft, but we're getting dangerously close to a crash between the inner and outer lines, and there we go. There goes Aspinall. Off-roading it here. Looks like he's going to save it. Ooh, thankfully the field already made their way around, so no caution. As now it's Opitz and Floyd out front side by side. Floyd shows as the lead by just a couple of hairs. Right now about 400ths ahead of Opitz. More bumping and grinding going on as we're too wide and looking to have a little bit of side-by-side impact as drivers looking for a way through. Caleb Nelson was looking for a way high, but Caleb Weekly had other plans. Looks like Weekly gives him the door there. Looks like he gave the door to Brady Floyd, the number 20 machine. So a whole lot of aggression, and here we go. Or no, they hold on to it. Somehow, some way, that's Brady Floyd getting the worst end of it. And no caution still. So now, all of a sudden, it's Jared Ziegler, Marshall Newton, and there we go. That's the crash we were waiting for. Caleb Weekly and Marshall Newton getting each other. Jared Ziegler somehow up front. As they're still trying to pack it. Look at that, the number 30 machine goes for a wild ride. That was Cody Schultz goes careening around. That was a long crash. Back that one up ever so slightly. The gift that just kept on giving. That's Marshall Newton and Weekly getting into it. A little bit of bump, a little bit of grind, and Marshall comes back down after the impact. Cody Schultz gets involved in it. Couldn't go anywhere. And then I think what happened is, just a little bit of action. And then Schultz goes bouncing around the track here in that number 30 machine. So we kind of were wagering that the crash was going to happen, but I don't think that's quite how we expected it, as that will put us into green-white checker conditions tonight, the first of 3 attempts. We're going to try and get the field gridded back up. Yeah, I've got to agree with Norman King. That was a odd crash in the making. Took a long time to finally come to fruition. We had the big moment on the backstretch that I could have sworn was going to bring out the big one. Everybody able to collect themselves, but still a little bit jittery through turns 3 and 4. And finally brought out the caution. Took almost 3/4 of a lap to finally make that happen. Here, Ziegler running all the way down the apron, maybe trying to save a little bit of fuel in that number 8 Chevrolet. Chevy running 1st through 6th right now before you get to Mitchell Mama in the Toyota Tundra. He's 7th on track in the 98. Let's get ready for what could be the final time as the pace car comes in. It's Ziegler and Opitz on the front row. The green flag flies. As Nicholas Wing hops down the inside line, but it looks like a crash is forming up as Will Cloud getting pinballed in that number 57 machine. If we can take the white flag this time by, we'll run it all the way out to the end here and finish it under green. As the top 4 drivers break single file, but no, here comes Jeffrey Sykes and Mitchell Mum on the high line. They're going to try and get around. Oh, who's that off in no man's land? It wasn't Opitz. That was Newbinging far off track. No caution. Let's see if the race leaders will take the white flag. If so, we'll finish it under green. It was the sun glaring terribly through 3 and 4. White flag will be out this time by Ziegler and Sykes side by side. And here we go. Wing gets pushed down to the middle after he comes up ever so slightly. Oh, this field looks all sorts of uncertain going into turn 1. We're 3 wide for about the 5th place spot. As Murphy right there beside Kevin Nelson, I believe Sykes as well. Currently shows Mama, Stanley, Strayer, Murphy, and Nelson inside the top 5. Everybody blocking, diving, and weaving. Surely this will end in disaster for at least one driver, as it looks like everybody's having a tough go, making those lines square. The number 64 machine of Brett Murphy blocking like his life absolutely depends on it. As we try to crash once more, or are we going to make it? And who was that? Kevin Nelson just comes up in the field and crashes into everybody. Mitchell Mama, Derek Stanley, and Lucas Strayer will bring home the podium after a typically wild finish here at Daytona. But once we get the drivers calmed down, we're going to try and get Lucas, Derek, and Mitchell up into the interview room. Super Speedways at a season opener never disappoint unless you're one of those drivers not finishing the top 3 after the late race crashes. And Mitchell Mama gonna burn it down here at the end of the 98 machine. He paid for all the tires. He's gonna use all the tires. But able to win the draft lottery here at Daytona. And extremely happy that he's gonna be finishing the top spot in that Toyota. Out of nowhere, it's Toyota going 1, 2, 3 with Mitchell, Derek, and Lucas. As we wait for our drivers to make their way up. You got Brett Murphy. You've got Derek Stanley. We are just waiting on Lucas, I believe. Gonna be interesting. Not sure why we have Murphy up here in victory lane. Maybe he thinks he got third. All right, we are on third and final call for Lucas Schrader to see if he can make his way up here into victory lane. If he's not able to get up here shortly, we'll roll right into, I believe it's going to be Derek Stanley will be the next driver we have joining us. Fortunately, it does not look like Lucas will be able to join us here today. So up first, we're going to get Derek Stanley in the number 82 machine. Derek, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Derek, it seemed like the Super Speedway ended in typical Super Speedway fashion. How did it go from your point of view out there in the 82?
I felt like it went pretty good. Had some good teammates that I stuck with the whole race, and ended up finishing second. I'm happy.
Well, Derek, did you guys have a strategy as a team to try and survive the season opener? Usually these Super Speedway races are kind of a gamble on who brings it home with a clean truck at the tail end of it.
Yeah, we kind of stayed at the back for like the first half, and then started to make our way up the track.
Well, you sound tired. I know it was an
Yeah.
exhausting evening, my friend, and a late night for a lot of the drivers, but you're our fastest Canadian out on track. So who'd like to give a shout out to that helped you get up here in victory lane tonight?
Uh, my teammates, Mitch, Brett, and Chris and Doug, for this great place finish.
Awesome. Derek, welcome up here to the top spot. Hope to see you do just as well, if not better, at homestand, and congratulations on a hard-fought second tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great night.
You as well, Derek. That was Derek Stanley finishing second. We're going to go back to third place. Lucas able to join us here in the number 41 machine. Looks like a wild finish there at the end, my friend.
Yeah, I really wanted I was in a bad situation. I wanted my friend Mitch to win. Like he definitely needs to win. He was doing great. But when Brett got behind me, I was hoping Brett could push me. But I mean, my friend won. I'm happy. We'll call it a day.
Yeah, not a bad night. Able to finish it with a relatively clean race truck, all things considered. Were you kind of hanging back in the opening half of that race to play it safe, or were you going from the very beginning?
I was trying to hang back a lot because like if you wreck your truck early, you can't finish the race. So these races are all about survival. So just hit out, and then when opportunity opened to get up there, I took it, and then just tried to hang out as best I could.
Well, Lucas, it seemed like it worked out well for you. Able to finish up here in Victory Lane. Not a bad way to start this season, that 41 machine. Who would you like to give a shout out to that helped you get up here tonight? Friends, family, sponsors.
I want to give a shout out to Sean Howell Designs and Grip Marketing. Those guys have really helped me out. I got to give out to my team, Adra Oval. Love those guys. Let's have it for Mitch for winning the race and my other friends. And shout out to my roommate for signing me up. I love you, Gavin. You're the best.
Awesome, Lucas. Welcome to Victory Lane for the first time this season. Hopefully, you have just as a successful night at Homestead, and we wish you the best of luck all season long.
Thanks, man. See you next week.
Yes, sir. I'll see you then. That was Lucas finishing third. And up next, we've got Mitchell in the number 98 machine, bringing it home in the top spot. Mitchell looked like it was going to get a little bit hairy there at the end, but the 98 machine showed up on the top spot nice and proud.
Oh yeah, dude. That was crazy. Thankful to have a loyal teammate like Derek. He pushed me to the win. It's all about who you know and who you can work with. And here at Yee Racing, we have a great group of guys that we work with. And man, we were what 1, 2, and 4 for the finish today. So I mean, it's all about Daytona is all about who your friends are, man. And we got good pushers and good loyal teammates.
Seemed worked out well for you and the team. Now, Mitchell, coming out to a relatively new league for you guys and racing around, how long did it take you to get accustomed to all the names and faces driving and maybe outside of your team learn who you can trust to push or be pushed from?
I think by probably what 2 months into the league, I'll probably know, who I could work with, who I can't. So far, man, that was a really clean race. Everybody was really really fun to race with. So far so good. I know I had an incident earlier throughout the race. I think it was with the 14 truck. So I mean, I think that was just a one and done thing. I didn't mean to cause a wreck there. I'm not sure really exactly what happened, but like you said, you'll know probably in the next few weeks who you can work with, how people driving styles are, because there's a lot of new faces in here, a lot of new names. But man, that was a great race, and this is a great league.
Well, glad you found our way out. That was a lot of fun to watch. And I mean, Mitchell, we know super speedways are always kind of a draft lottery. What's the plan for you and the team once we head to some of the more technical tracks later in the season? We've got Rockingham, Pocono, we've got South Boston. I mean, what's the plan for such wild and differing tracks that you're going to find throughout the season?
Yeah, so we're on basically every night or every other night on iRacing, and we'll definitely go and practice and kind of talk about what worked in the past and with other setups and what from I've been on the server or on iRacing for about 10 years now, so just picking up on trends at certain tracks. I know like some tracks are tire saving tracks, some you have to be more aggressive, and I think honestly what's going to be the key to a successful season is minimizing mistakes. So getting on and off pit road as clean as you can, and just being consistent with your finishes. If you can stick around, make sure you don't wreck your truck. You have a good shot at racing for a championship this year. So that's what we're going to do. We'll go back to knowledge and just be consistent and clean.
Well, Mitchell, very well said. Welcome up here to the top spot, Victory Lane. A fantastic way to start the season for both you and the entire family at Yee Racing. And you have the distinct privilege, my friend. You get the final send-off for any friends, family, sponsors. The floor is all yours.
I appreciate that, James. Yeah, I just want to thank my teammates, Derek Stanley, for pushing me to the win. That was awesome. Thank you, Brett. Thank you to all the league owners of Camping World. And I don't really have any sponsors, but I just want to thank everybody who supports me. My friends, I got good friends out here, good teammates. great family, and maybe I'll be starting up a Twitch stream here soon. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in my life personally, so this was cool to get a win. A lot of big changes coming up this month, so this was definitely a kickstart to something new league, new job, new things coming up in the future. So thanks again, James, for everything, and I hope I can talk to you more often.
Me as well, my friend. Congratulations on everything going on cool in your life, and congratulations starting off the season strong. Hope to see you do well the rest of the season, Mitchell.
Thanks, James.
Thank you, sir. That was Mitchell Mama finishing in the top spot after a wild night here tonight. The Intimidator 76 brought to you by the Camping Universe. It was Mitchell Mama, Derek Stanley, Lucas Strayer, the top 3 drivers with a fantastic finish. Just the right amount of cautions thrown in and not too wild of a raceway. As always, on behalf of the Camping Universe Truck Series, my name's James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everyone.